Hey everybody, I hope you guys are doing good. I want you to know I'm thinking of you and I can't wait to be back with you. So, I wanted to share my screen and talk to you about a couple things for this week. Okay, so this is under drama 1, but this also works for drama 2 and IB because everyone's doing this like ultimate, combat unit. So, a couple things. First off, if you're a hybrid student and you are in school, okay, you're taking part in this unit. While I am not there, okay, please do not get up and full force go through your choreography. There may be a chance while Papa Wright is there that you can slowly go through it, but he will tell you when that's going to be. And when that does happen, that means as slow as you can go. I know it's probably boring, not the most appealing thing, but just so that you can be so uber safe, okay? At this point, y'all are very comfortable with the moves that I have taught you, so I'm confident in that, but we just have to be careful because I am not there. So please check your distance, freeze if mid scene or mid rehearsal if you don't feel safe at all. Just be smart, okay? Really be aware of your surroundings, all these things you've heard me talk about before, but just really be smart, okay? Really think about it. For all my classes, IB theater auditions are going to be postponed. I'll let you know as soon as possible when that's going to be. Still, if you were interested, which I hope some of you were, continue to prepare your monologue. Again, you needed about a minute long monologue. Then you can go up to the theater door, the side door, and kind of fill in your name on one of the time slots. It's going to take place during 7th period. I'll let you know when that's going to be, but it will be during 7th period. So if you'd like to, you can still fill your name out on the time slot, okay? So let's go through this week and what basically it's going to look like for you. So we're going to talk in a second about what makes a fight good, what makes it a good fight, okay? I put down the fight guidelines again, just in case you need to kind of go back and look. And what that basically means is what you need to incorporate into your fight and then what you cannot incorporate into your fight. All right. And that's for Monday. I broke it up by day for this week and potentially for next week. Oops. Okay. Tuesday, you have a do now. And then you're going to get into specifically the mood of your fight. So you're going to learn a little bit about that. And then you'll continue work on your choreography. Okay. Thursday, I put the rubric up that you're going to look at. And I'm also going to post a video on our warm up because I do need you to warm up because that's so important. And then Friday, you just have a little reflection activity. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about what makes a fight good, okay? So this is an article that I copied and pasted into here, but it had a lot of great points on what makes for an effective, strong fight. And now that you're still in those planning stages and kind of starting to put your ultimate fight together, there's still room to kind of switch things or tweak things. So a couple things for you to kind of keep in mind. So what makes a fight strong is a good transition into the fight scene. So this can be like the buildup before the fight starts. And that's why we really wanted to talk about what's your objective? Why are you fighting? Make it a strong, exciting reason. And if it is so simple as, the example I gave you of there's one cupcake and two people, make it exciting. It could be something very simple, but overdo it always. The participant's mindset. So that's your character objectives. What do they want and what are they going to do to get it? Okay. Balance of power. So this one's really kind of interesting. I remember a while back we watched a video and a lot of you said it wasn't a fight because one person was getting bullied, like the other person was just getting beaten up and one person was doing the beating. So that wasn't a fight. So that's a great example of this balance of power. So I'm sorry, that's salty. I copied this from a thing. I'll have to take that out. But anyway, a character who is just very strong and beating up the other person and the character who's being beat up, that's not really interesting, right? You want kind of a balance where both people who are fighting are very strong. just so that it kind of goes somewhere. If one person's strong and the other person's weak, that could be kind of boring, unless maybe like if it's a bullying situation, like a classic, cheesy, really strong person, and then someone who's very, very nerdy, that kind of character. Maybe the nerdy person kind of fights back and they win. That could be interesting, but you don't want something that's so straightforward as someone who's strong and someone who's weak, because that could be kind of boring. Strategies and tactics. Okay, so what this means, and we'll read it just from here. So a physical fight, it doesn't mean that it's the end of all intelligence. So in fact, this is where intellect might end up shining the brightest. So as participants makes prearrangements or improvises in order to achieve victory, it becomes as much of a battle of wits as a battle of strength. So you guys are going to see this tomorrow. I have a video clip from a movie where it has to do with the battle of wits. So it doesn't all have to be just fight, moves and choreography. Maybe your characters, they talk a little bit through it and it's a little more witty that way. Maybe someone does something as simple as look that way and then they run the opposite direction. So it can be a battle of wits too. It doesn't have to be all brute. It can be smarts too. Okay. Sense of place. So really think about where your scene is taking place, and how maybe a prop or something really simple in that particular setting could help you in your fight. So really think about it. Same with the use of environment, same idea. Your choreography. So think about the characters that you're playing. So maybe if the character is between, I don't know, it could be like an old lady and maybe another old lady. Two old ladies are fighting each other. And how would these characters move around the stage? They would move a little different than you probably would at your age. So that kind of makes a difference, right? So think about it. Your physical reactions, that's what makes a fight. How many times have I talked about this? The bigger reaction, the better. That's what makes a fight exciting, okay? Conversations through actions. So again, it doesn't all have to be just choreography and fight moves and stuff like that. Talk through it. Maybe you have even just subtle conversation, just little, little bursts of conversation here and there, something like that. That's where your battle of wits can come in. And then last but not least, an emotional impact. Okay. So it could be that your characters are, it's just silly and it's a light kind of fight, and that's fine. But when you get into it, kind of the deeper you get into it, the more fun it is to watch. So something to think about if that kind of applies to your fight. So basically what you're going to be doing today with all of these things in mind, you guys are going to just get back into your groups and continue to brainstorm your fight. If you had already, you're like, I've come up with the fight and it's perfect and nothing else needs changing. Probably not. It probably needs a little bit of changing or a little tweaking. But you can think if you've incorporated these things or other things from this list that you can incorporate into your fight. And then what you could do, start thinking of your tech. I know later in the week you're going to be doing this, but start thinking any kind of music or sound effects you can work into your scene. And maybe you say, no, maybe you don't need them, but they're fun. They can add so much. Imagine watching a movie without the soundtrack in the background. It's not the same thing, right? So although your choreography is probably amazing, think about some kind of music or effects or something you could put in the background. And of course, if y'all have any questions for me about anything, just email me. Y'all know my email. I love you guys and I miss you guys, and I'll see you guys really soon.